So last time we spoke, you were on your way to Stanford. Can you talk a little bit about what happened at that appointment?
Yeah, I flew to California to be seen by the clinic of one of the world's leading infectious disease and chronic fatigue specialists, and spent about 2 hours getting a really exhaustive history and looking at the findings of the doctors who came before them. And then they pronounced me what they call a CFS-ME patient. It's called a few things: chronic fatigue syndrome, or myalgic encephalomyelitis, or systemic exercise intolerance disorder. And they ordered lab tests that required 17 tubes of blood be drawn. And with any luck, that'll help them figure out what might be causing this, that maybe it's some sort of virus we could treat. In the meantime, they said that the most important thing I can do is to stop exercising, stop walking the dog, stop doing anything that elevates my heart rate. So the life that shrank all the way down to walking the dog and watching TV, they would like me to shrink it a little bit more.
When you first heard them say that they wanted you to stop all exercise, what was your initial reaction?
I guess, having considered this diagnosis as a possibility, I'd done a little bit of poking around and I knew it might be coming. But I basically asked them if they were willing to negotiate. And they said, well, you know, if you're walking 20 minutes, you could try walking 10, but you're going to find that it's going to trigger your heart problems and it's going to trigger fatigue. And no matter what we do to treat you, if you don't make the lifestyle modifications, the treatments won't work. I think I kept my poker face at that moment, but I think once we left the clinic, I got pretty low.
So do the specialists believe that if you cease exercise for 6 months, do the treatments, that this will help you move past the troubles?
The odds aren't good. One of the things they say is that most people with this diagnosis have been going to doctors with this wide range of rather diffuse systemic complaints for years, and they elude diagnosis. If the diagnosis had been made earlier, the treatments are more likely to either be effective or at least result in improvements. But they basically say the sicker you are and the longer you've been sick, the lower the likelihood of any recovery and the lower the likelihood of full recovery. So we can't say for sure when this started, but it's definitely been a pretty slippery slope downward since my issues in Fort Collins came up. So there are a lot of lessons for people in a situation like mine, but hopefully there are lessons for the organizations that didn't listen. And hopefully there are lessons for groups of people who say, the guy calls himself disabled, but he doesn't look disabled. When you believe that somebody is faking disability, you believe they are a horrible person, because that's a pretty subhuman thing to do. Another cautionary tale is the evidence shows that the people of West Vine Bungalows spent an inordinate amount of time researching me and no time researching the situation. That's really just a personal attack. And somewhere in the whole story, one really critical, important thing gets lost, which is, did anybody go talk to Neil Brooks and understand a little more about his medical issues and try to understand the impact of the barking on his life? And the answer to that is nobody ever did.